footage used in any of the Slasher Scotty videos, including the body count, the rankings, and the top 10 videos, are entirely owned by the copyright holders. Slasher Scotty makes no claim of ownership and simply uses the footage for purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under the Fair Use Act.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Top 10. I am your host, Slasher Scotty, and wow, what a top 10 we have in store for you this time around. We are about to count down the top 10 characters of American Horror Story. That's right, top 10 of American Horror Story characters throughout the 9 seasons of the show's tenure. But before I go into that, how about I share a little bit of good news with y'all. So this episode of the Top 10 is brought to you by RAZE Energy. I am Slasher Scotty, of course, and I am willing to help you get some money off on your very own energy drink. So why not get, some money off by checking the description below and click on the link. And then in the coupon code, put in Slasher Scotty and get 15% off of your order on RAZE Energy or any Rep Sports products. Now that we got that out of the way, RAZE Energy and myself would like to tell you, you want to slash that subscribe button, people. Come on, show me some love and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, like this video if you like what you saw, and leave a comment if yours differs from mine. And of course, one last thing I have to tell you is hit that bell notification icon. Doing so will get you updated on all of the videos I upload when they are uploaded, including all the top 10s, the rankings videos, my interviews with celebrity guests, and other video content that I decide to put out. But before we go and count down these top 10, RAZE Energy, this one is strawberry colada. That's good. See you back here once we get down to the top 9, and then we'll get into the last one. All right. So see you soon, people. RAZE Energy's good.
Number 10 is Michael Langdon from American Horror Story Season 8 Apocalypse. Michael is the son of the spirit of Tate Langdon and Vivian Harmon, conceived when Tate was the rubber man and raped Vivian by pretending to be her husband, and thus conceiving a demon child who would turn out to be the Antichrist. Michael is a major character that must be in the top 10 as he was introduced way back in Season 1 as a child, and would grow up as an evil, vile son of Satan himself. The reason Michael is last on this list is due to the end of the season, when all that was needed to be done was to go back in time, run him over with a car, and kill him, resetting the entire apocalypse. That I find a tad lame. Number 9 is Liz Taylor from American Horror Story Season 5 Hotel. Liz is a transgendered female who is a desk clerk at the Hotel Cortez. She eventually fell in love with the model Tristan Duffy, and they were planning their life together. Ultimately, the Countess ended that beautiful relationship by killing Tristan. Eventually, Liz is killed by the Countess by having her throat sliced open, and her spirit is trapped in the Hotel Cortez, where she is visited by Tristan's spirit. They embrace, and they are now able to spend eternity together. Number 8 is Fiona Goode from American Horror Story Season 3 Coven. Fiona Goode is the supreme of the witches and is the horrible mother to Cordelia Goode, who is the future supreme, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. Fiona ends up killing Madison Montgomery, as when a new supreme is born, the old one dies, and she thought that Madison was the next one in line for the throne. She starts a relationship with the Axeman, and eventually Fiona dies due to cancer, and her daughter Cordelia is the next supreme by successfully completing the 7 wonders. Number 7 is Kai Anderson from American Horror Story Season 7 Cult. Kai is first seen happy that Donald Trump was elected as the next president of the United States of America, and eventually he creates his own cult where he runs for political office and rallies up a ton of supporters that do bad things, including murder. Kai eventually gets arrested, but finds a way to escape the prison and confronts Allie at her own political campaign, where he is eventually shot and killed by reporter Beverly Hope. Number 6 is Madame Delphine Lalarie from American Horror Story Season 3, Coven. Madame Delphine Lalarie is a racist slave owner from the 1800s that tortured black men in her basement. She is eventually given immortality by the voodoo queen Marie Laveau and then is buried alive. She is dug up by Fiona Goode and realizes all the changes that has happened since her burial, including the first African American president in Barack Obama, and one of the witches living in her home is also black. She is eventually turned into a slave herself as a punishment of sorts, and is eventually stabbed by Queenie and sent to hell by Papa Legba for an eternity of torment. Number 5 is Dandy Mott from American Horror Story Season 4, Freak Show. Dandy is a man-child, so to speak, where he is a spoiled rich kid that is used to getting everything he wants. He eventually kills his mother and kidnaps the conjoined twins Bet and Dot Tatler, before he buys the freak show from Elsa Mars and ends up killing all of the performers due to them not wanting to do what he says. Eventually, Dandy is put into a tank where the water starts to fill up and starts drowning him, where he's actually the star of the show like he wanted to be, and his audience is none other than Jimmy Darling, Bet and Dot Tatler, and Desiree Dupree. Number 4 is Madison Montgomery from American Horror Story Season 3, Coven. Madison is a famous actress who so happens to be a witch. She is raped by a bunch of high school friends at a frat party while Zoe is taking a liking to another frat boy named Kyle. Madison eventually kills the entire brotherhood by flipping the bus, also killing Kyle. They eventually resurrect Kyle using a bunch of body parts from the others that died in the crash. Madison is eventually killed by Fiona Goode when she is mistaken to be the next Supreme, but is brought back to life. She is then killed a second time by Kyle himself, who ended up as a Frankenstein monster when he was brought back to life because Madison refused to revive Zoe when she was doing the 7 Wonders. She was in her own personal hell as a retail worker and is brought back to life by Michael Langdon, the Antichrist, in Season 8 of Apocalypse, to eventually be killed one last time. Number 3 is Tate Langdon from American Horror Story Season 1, Murder House, and a brief appearance in Season 8 Apocalypse. Tate seems to be a good guy at first, a good-looking, boy-next-door type, but ultimately has a darker side to him. For starters, it is revealed that he is dead and a ghost trapped in the murder house. Why is he dead? Well, he shot up the entire school that he attended and was going to be taken away, but then he ended up shooting at the police, but he instead was shot dead in his room, thus having his spirit reborn in the house itself. Violet finds all of this out and eventually overdoses, with Tate unsuccessfully bringing her back to life and ends up hiding her corpse so she doesn't realize what just happened. In Season 8, Tate and Violet are still on the outs after he got her mom pregnant, and eventually they make up, but that may have not ever happened due to the apocalypse being reset. Number 2 is Marie Laveau from American Horror Story Season 3, Coven, as well as a brief appearance in Season 8, Apocalypse. Marie Laveau is the voodoo queen that gave Madame Delphine Lalarie immortality, only to bury her alive as punishments for her ways of being a slave owner. Marie, immortal herself, is feuding with the Coven witches and ends up teaming with Fiona Goode. She also has a dealing with Papa Legba as well. Marie Laveau returns in Season 8 where she helps the Coven witches defeat the Antichrist, but is ultimately stopped by Michael Langdon himself.
Wow, we just counted down 9 of the American Horror Story characters in the show's tenure, 9 seasons. Oh my god, that was so cool. But there's still one more left. One more character that is on this list. But we're not there yet. There are some characters that should be in the top 10. If it was a top, 13, 14, 15, or how many, characters that I really thought were also good. But it's not that. This is a top 10, so that's where our honorable mentions come into play. So I'm going to show you these non-voiceovered honorable mentions with some clips of the characters, and then we'll go into the number 1 spot, and then I'll see you back here in my studio right here on Slasher Scotty, alright? So see you there, and see you soon, people!
Bolivian marching powder. Too tame for my taste. I found a far better way to stimulate.
I tried it all, man. There is nothing better.
You know. In your black heart of hearts, you know. You're just like me.
I tell you who the monsters are. The people outside this tent. In your town, in all these little towns.
Only one.
Pepper, 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 bo pepper, banana, fana, fo pepper, fee, fi, mo, mepper. Pepper.
Anyone else have a bone to pick with me?
I do.
I bet you do, Judy. Let's have a look in your room.
Fine, there's nothing in there.
Judy, Judy, Judy. Did you steal this from the kitchen? I bet you got the idea from Shelley.
Very funny.
Do you think about the Monsignor file thing? This is awkward for me, given our prior relationship. But I can't have you diddling yourself all night long.
So punish me.
Number 1 is Lana Winters from American Horror Story Season 2 Asylum, with an appearance in American Horror Story Season 6 Roanoke and also mentioned in Season 7 Cult. Lana is a journalist who goes to Briarcliff Manor to get the full scoop on Kit Walker, the supposed bloody-faced murderer, and she sees the asylum and how it is, so she is deemed to expose them. She is eventually kidnapped and kept against her will at the asylum as a patient by Sister Jude and Sister Mary Eunice, where she is given electroshock therapy and other unimaginable treatments. She finds out that her psychiatrist, Dr. Oliver Thredson, is the real bloody-faced murderer, and he killed her girlfriend and wants to kill her too. She eventually kills him and becomes a hero. She becomes a big-time talk show celebrity to the likes of Barbara Walters and is almost killed by her son she conceived with Dr. Thredson. She kills him and eventually returns for the Roanoke season, where she interviews Lee regarding the Roanoke house and the events that transpired there. She was then mentioned about reaching out to Allie during Cult on her escaping Kai Anderson and his clown cult, but was ultimately turned down for an interview.
Woohoo! We just counted down the top 10 of American Horror Story characters. That is awesome. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Please let me know why. I love interacting with my fans, my followers, my subscribers. So please tell me in the comments, which is your top 10 characters of all of American Horror Story? Trust me, there are plenty of them to choose from. And of course, give the video a like if you liked what you saw. I know you want to do that. Please do so. And of course, hit that bell notification icon because you want to be updated on all of my video contents, right? You definitely want to be updated. So please, please, please hit that notification icon. While I'm begging you, please, please, please smash that subscribe button and show me some love. So thank you everybody for coming here on the top 10 video on American Horror Stories characters. I am so glad we got to, count down my favorite, and remember, that's right, these are my favorite. So now that yours are going to differ from mine, so please let me know. Thank you for joining me and coming here, and of course, be good people.